In its bid to address critical intersection between climate change and health while focusing on fostering sustainable solutions and building resilient health systems, the Nigeria Health Watch on the topic, the Future of Health Conference 2024, tagged the year's theme, From Evidence to Action, Building Resilience at the Climate Health Nexus. As it has observed, climate change has emerged as a profound escalating threat to global health, with its impacts increasingly felt across the African continent, including Nigeria. World Health Organization (WHO) highlighted climate change as humanity's most significant health threat, with severe implications for human health, safety, food and water security, and socio-economic development. To this end, the conference aims to bring together evidence-based approaches and collaborative efforts with rising food insecurity, increased prevalence of diseases, and extreme weather events impacting the nation. According to the Nigeria Health Watch, the 10th edition is to emphasize the need for a collective responsibility in addressing these challenges and securing a healthier future for all, regardless of barriers. Thanks for joining us. I am your carrier, Clinton, and this is Nigeria Today. Joining us for the conversation is for the Future of Health Conference is Chibuike Alamboso. He's the Deputy Director of Media Programs, Nigeria Health Watch. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Also with us on set is Anwale Nwankwo. She's a Knowledge Management Lead in Nigeria Health Watch. Thank you for joining us on Nigeria Today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I will start with you. You know, usually they say ladies first, so I'll have to go with the lady first. So, Anwale, walk us through this conference you're talking about. What is the, I know we have a background introduction, but let us know, walk us through the entire, conference, what you intend to achieve with it.
Okay, the Youth Pre-Conference, it's a debut for the Future of Health Conference, which will be taking place on the 23rd of this month. So, when you hear the word youth, you hear young people, and according to statistics, the African population is predominantly young people, and research has shown that about 70% of young people are more in sub-Saharan Africa, which makes them more affected by climate change, but they also have the opportunity to fight and address these challenges. However, the theme for the Youth Pre-Conference, which is amplifying youth voices for climate health actions, it's aimed to bring together youth across continents to discuss and share insightful solutions that will help mitigate the effect of climate change in health. So this Youth Pre-Conference is a very, very, it's said to be an impactful conference whereby it aims to help youth kind of amplify their voices, draw them together to bring about informations, gather solutions that will mitigate the effect of climate change in health. So it's also aimed to the outcome of this conference is to select youth climate health champions, which will be supported after the conference, like post-conference, to amplify their voices and support activities that will be executed within their communities that is associated with climate health.
Thank you very much, Anwale. Now to you, Chibuike. I know he's talked about the focus here is the youth, but however, during the introduction, we hear there's this connection between climate change, food security, and health in Nigeria. Can you talk to us, tell us, what is this connection and why is it critical for people to understand this connection?
Thank you very much for the question. I really like that you used that term critical, because at Nigeria Health Watch, it's at the foundation of all the work that we do, the health communication, the advocacy. We essentially focus on bringing together stakeholders who are involved in these issues, who are involved in these conversations. How do we make sure that we bring them to the same room, to have these conversations, share what's working, share solutions, and chart the way forward, right? So that's what Nigeria Health Watch has been doing with the Future of Health Conference for the past 10 years. So interestingly, this is the 10th anniversary of the conference, and doing something consistently for 10 years, it's really a big deal. So coming to the conference theme, actually since inception, every year we choose a particular theme, and we will address issues around health and universal health coverage, business of health, even the diaspora as Nigeria's brain gain. How do we make sure that those people who have left, built networks, and coming back are helping to drive the health sector? We've talked about health and technology. So, but this year we're looking at that critical connection between climate change and health, because by default, most people, when you mention climate or climate change, most people don't even connect with it or understand what it means or how it impacts us. Some will say, oh, it's not our business. We hear it on TV, we see it on the internet, it's a Western thing. But these are our realities, the floodings and all. So for us, this year, we're looking at helping people understand, those connections between climate change and how it impacts health. Also, another misconception, people think climate change is just about the environment. But coming to your question, so when it impacts the environment, say flooding, how does it in fact impact on us as human beings? So let's say rainfall, for example. Farmers, when they plant, they expect the rains, to nurture their plants so they grow and they can harvest. So when these things are disrupted, those seasons, when they don't go according to how they used to be because of climate change, it's going to impact on their output, and that impacting on food security. So that's how it impacts us as human beings. That's how it impacts our health, because when there is a food insecurity, it impacts on nutrition, the quality and the quantity of food that we have available for us to eat. When there are floodings, all of those issues, even heat waves, all of those, it impacts on farmers' productivity, their poultry, livestock, and all of that. So it impacts on food security, and by extension, the availability of food that we can consume as a people or the public. So that's why those conversations are important, bringing together the people who are working in these spaces so they can share not just the issues, but also the solutions. Because for us at Nigeria Health Watch, we are very keen on talking about what's working. Right, so it's not just about the issues we talk about, the issues where we talk about solutions. That way, we are bringing people to collaborate to, advance those issues and find the way forward. So we're bringing together people in the public sector, people in the private sector to have those conversations. And even beyond food security, actually, climate change also impacts on infectious diseases. So all of the issues we have around disease outbreaks, right? Because by the time they are because of all of these inconsistencies in the climate, some of these rodents or these vectors that that like where infectious diseases are housed, they leave their natural habitats and get to interact with humans. So let's say there is a fire, forest fire, for instance, and all of those issues. So those animals leave their habitats and get into our environment. With those interactions, you now see transmission of infections from animals to humans. So there's all of those interplay, from malaria to Lassa fever and all of those issues. All of those happen because of those weather inconsistencies as a result of climate change.
Okay, thank you very much. Now back to you, Angele. You talk so much about the youth, and I'm interested in that, because whenever the youth are at the forefront of a particular project, you see that this vibrancy, there's this enthusiasm. So what are the specific areas that Nigeria Health Watch really want the youth to participate, and what exactly would they be doing in these areas?
Okay, for this coming conference, youth from diverse organizations, youth-led organizations, which are climate change advocates, and also from different departments like health, law, engineering, agriculture, even medicine, are all will be gathered together for the purpose of discussing on how to mitigate the effect of climate change and health. So they are also going to be exhibiting like curated collections of evidence, data, and evidence solution, insightful solutions that are data-driven, database innovations to help communicate the understanding and make people, especially youth, have an understanding of what the impact of climate change does to the health. So when they come together to discuss this from different backgrounds, they are able to know how they can get innovative informations from health, from agriculture, from engineering, from other departments to help create this results that can help mitigate the effect of climate change and health. So the youth are all geared towards mitigating and fighting these challenges.
Okay, thank you very much. Now back to you, Chibuike. I haven't heard Anwuli stress so much because she seems to be stressing, on the youth, on the young people, which is a good thing because of course they are the future. They are their future. Now, how can private, public, community collaborations, contribute to addressing the climate health threat?
Thanks for that question. Like I said, historically, that's actually one of our strengths at Nigeria Health Watch. That's convening power to bring all of these people you mentioned, all of these different communities, because somehow they work in their different spaces, the communities, the private sector, the public sector. One of the powers of the Future of Health Conference is that ability to bring all of these communities together, because even the community, I like that you mentioned community, because a lot of times we think, communities don't have solutions to some of these issues. They are waiting for government to come and address them, or the private sector. Yes, it's the responsibility of the government to provide some of these amenities to the people, some of these services to the people, but the communities also have their own power. They also have their agency. They have ways of addressing these issues from even traditional means, really. So they have ways of mitigating. They have ways that they have built resilience. They have ways that they have adapted to the impacts of climate change. So what the conference does is bringing all of them together to have those conversations. Say you are doing something, right? You have a solution, maybe not perfect, because really there's no perfect solution or one size fits all solution. Say you are doing something and you're making some progress, right? The conference gives you that opportunity to share what you are doing in your own space. So rather than being in your own space, you're now sharing it in a space where you have the private sector, you have the government. And remember, the government also has to be there, because for these things to be sustained, you need the government. Yes, the private sector also has to play, they have to play in that space, because private sector has the capacity, most times the technical know-how, the tools, and some of the things that Anwuli already mentioned, data, technology, and all of those, materials that are needed. So they bring all of those. Government creates the enabling environment. They create the enabling laws to help these things to thrive, to help these things to scale, because private sector can do it on a small scale, maybe in one state. The communities can have the ability to try it in their in their own little space. But with the government coming in, all of them coming together, they're able to connect. And now, so you share what you're doing, but maybe you are having challenges. So someone in the room, you can meet someone in the room, can walk up and say, this challenge you are having, I can help you address it. Or this thing you are doing in one state or two states, I can help you scale it up to more states. So that's the role that all of them play. And if you look at the Future of Health Conference speakers, it's a mix of different, from different spaces, from private sector to academia to even international non-profits, coming together to have those conversations, sharing best practices as well, because like I said, at Nigeria Health Watch, yes, we advocate for these issues, but we are also deliberate about looking for those who have the solutions and, you know, putting a spotlight on them. And interestingly, our conferences don't end with just the conference. So after all of these conversations are had, we have a way of continuing to push that momentum, continuing to, you know, bring all of these issues, all of the insight, all of the conversation that happened at the conference. So they're not just a talk show, people talk and go, but we continue to use them to push for change, use them to push for policy change in this space.
Yes, I was about asking you, Chibuike, before I come back to Yanulika, you talked about the number of years that span through 10 years, and you said it's a 10th anniversary.
Yes.
So I want to find out, how impactful has it been for this number of years?
Thanks for that. So again, you know, where I ended, where I said we don't just end with the conference, we actually curate the event. So after the conference is had, we do articles, we get excerpts from the conference and continue pushing them in public fora, in private fora, trying to, you know, push all of the insight that came out of it. And what that does is, because we don't just end with the conference, we have a way of continuing engagement with those who attended, those who spoke, even those who made it possible. And that has helped us drive impact. So a good example that come to mind is the year 2016, I think, where we focused on health and tech. So that intersection between health and technology. So because of that conversation we had, because of that Future of Health conference, we're able to organize a series of what we called hackathons. Hackathons, yes. So it's an event where you bring in people in different spaces, because again, I think that's our superpower, really, that ability to convene people in different spaces to work together. So what the hackathon did was to bring in people in the tech space and the health space to find solutions to health problems using technology, right? So we organized those hackathons, and it was sponsored by, I don't know, maybe I can't mention their name online, so it will be like an ad, but yeah, it was sponsored by an international organization, and we did it in 2 states in Nigeria and 3 African countries: Kenya, South Africa, Kenya and South Africa, you know, and then Nigeria. So that came out because of a Future of Health conference, right? We had the conference where we talked about the diaspora as Nigeria's brain gate, because a lot of times the conversation is on the brain drain, people who are leaving. Nobody's talking about those who have left, built capacities and networks, and are coming back. So because of that conversation, we had an event the next day sponsored by another organization entirely, saying, how do we make sure that those who are coming back are having the enabling environment to, you know, thrive, to do what they have, you know, come back to do. So all of those started because of that Future of Health conference conversation. And, you know, I can go on and on about other examples, other themes for the past 10 years that, you know, after the conversation, we followed up and other things happened as a result of it.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm really still talking about the youth, because I know that is where you're focusing. You know, now, you know, we are in a technological era. You know, so how are you leveraging technology to reach out to other, you know, youth? Because as much as you say it's a span through, you know, 10 years, I know that quite a lot of people don't even understand what's going on. They don't understand what exactly they're talking about. When you talk of climate change, like you said, we're restricted to just the environment, but it goes beyond that. So how are you leveraging technology to reach out to, you know, other youth?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful question. So we are making use of the social media platforms. We have TikTok, we have with use of TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, to send messages, to have and post videos and ads in regards to climate and the impact of climate change and health, and let them know what is happening and how they can join us on the 23rd to discuss on how it's
on the 23rd of October.
23rd of October,
yes.
to discuss next week, actually next week Wednesday, to discuss on how it can be mitigated. Apart from that, we also make phone calls too. Apart from the social media platform, we'll come down for those who may not be. We are coming down to the community. Not everyone in the community may have access to internet. So those who have phone numbers, we have those who are registered, we'll call them, we'll follow them up and let them know that we are available. Are you available to really be present on this particular day? And then we have community, we have a set of people who go to the community and also create awareness within the northern part of the country and other eastern part of the country, within the country, Nigeria, and talk to them, make them know that climate change is real. The effect on youth and health and even mental health is really real.
Yeah.
So this is what you should do. This is how you can mitigate it. So you kind of create an avenue to make them know that they can have this resilient nature, because we cannot control nature, but we can have a way of creating strategies on how we can be able to manage it while we see it nature, or people use the word life, is happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Chibike,
I
I know you wanted to add something to it.
Yes.
That in adding something to it, I also wanted to tell us what you intend to, what do you want to see at the end of this conference?
Thank you very much. So just before that, the question you asked around technology, so one of the tools we also leveraging is online streaming platforms. So yes, the event is happening in Abuja next week. I don't want to say 22nd and 23rd and 24th because
no, just mention the dates and the month.
Okay, so it's 23rd and 22nd of 23rd and the 24th of October.
2024.
2024, yes, not 2025. Yeah, so it's in Abuja, but of course we don't expect everyone to travel to Abuja, so it's a hybrid event. Okay. So no matter any part of the country or any part of the world you are viewing from, or you are listening to this program, you can join that conversation by streaming it live on YouTube or registering to join via
so how do you get the link if you want to
So the link is simple: futureofhealthconference.com, www.futureofhealthconference.com. So when you register, you indicate if you want to attend in person or if you want to join virtually. If you are if you are far from Abuja, you can't travel all the way to join us. So yeah, those are the options, other ways that we're leveraging technology to make sure that we amplify the message beyond social media platforms that I only mentioned. And in terms of what we want, really, like I said, yes, we bring people together, but at the end of the day, we want we want to see what's working, right? We want to see what's working. We want to showcase evidence. Right? I want people to understand that, look, there is a connection between climate change and health. If we, at the end of the day, people come back more informed to take climate change seriously, that it impacts their health, that we'll be happy at the end of the day. So we want people to have, increase their knowledge around that intersection between climate change and how it impacts health. We want government, policymakers, people who have the power, really, to adopt all of the recommendations that will be tabled on that day, to be there and take them up and act on them. So we want to see all of those things happening both at the local level, subnational level, and at the national level.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll wrap up today's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to Anwule Nwankwo, the Knowledge Management Lead, Nigeria Health Watch. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming. And also, we had Chibuike Alaboso, is the Deputy Director of Media Programs, Nigeria Health Watch. Thank you so much
for your
having me. Contributions. And thank you for being part of the program. Remember, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch a repeat by 10 p.m. today. And also other episode on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.